This is the Ask Faleskini podcast, where the modern economy is discussed from a skeptic's perspective. Mr. Faleskini helps you distinguish what is sustainable in our economy and what isn't. Not everything that glitters is gold, and not all mud is dirty. The podcaster Mr. Faleskini provides no-nonsense advice. He had it all, lost it all, went bankrupt multiple times, and is now attempting to come back from zero with sustainable growth. There are numerous coaches and preachers on the internet that preach about positive thinking and how life is all roses if you just care to see it that way. Well, Mr. Faleskini is definitely not one of them. We recommend you ask Faleskini to keep it real. He discusses the darker side of the current economic reality, the side that's more important for your personal and business finance. His first intention is to help you keep what you already have. Not to be a complete party pooper, Mr. Faleskini will also hint at the earning opportunities in the economy today. In order to please the almighty algorithm, please like, share, and subscribe. And now it's time to start taking notes. The mic goes to the podcaster, the one and only Mr. Faleskini.
Welcome to the Ask Faleskini podcast with a guest. I'm proud to present Jeanne Omlor. Jeanne supports coaches, consultants, experts, and service providers with guidance and training to experience the ultimate success. Jeanne is also known to help high-end CEOs with private label advisory. Jeanne, please tell us more about yourself. What is your story?
Okay, well, that's just such a long, I could talk forever, but I'm going to try to make it really succinct and short. Okay, so about myself, I've been a coach and a consultant and a business strategist for over 12 years. And when I first started, I was doing the whole offline hustle of networking, which we talked about a minute ago, kind of keeps you poor, right? And I realized 4 years ago, I was a broke single mom of 2 children 4 years ago. And I thought, okay, I need to turn this around because I was in deep debt. And I got myself online and I figured out how to get clients on social media with no ads. And I got to 1 million in 17 months and now I'm over 3 million. And of course, I have my private label advisory and that's very high end clients, but that's not, the main part of my business. So here I am now. I had a small team and we have helped over 400 coaches with the same strategies online to get clients without ads. So that's this life. Of course, we were chatting before. I used to be a top executive recruiter on Wall Street, a long time ago, around the time of 9/11, actually. And I have a degree in design. I used to be a fashion designer. I was a filmmaker. I was an actress for many years. So I have a very, very sort of colored past in a nice way, nice colors of a mosaic past. Okay. And I've also lived in many different countries of the world. I was born in California, but I grew up in Australia and a lot of my family are still there. And I lived in Europe for 8 years, 6 of which were in Paris. So yeah, been around the world a lot, did a lot of travel, done many different things. And here I am. And I'm really in my sweet spot right now because coaching is a culmination of all my talents all in one.
Great introduction. Thank you for that. I'm really curious. How did you start coaching coaches? That is something that is the best thing someone can do. So you have to be the best of all these coaches that are now available on the internet. How do you go into business to business and help them develop their product, their service, their coaching business? How do you start? Where did you get this idea?
Okay, so I've been coaching some coaches and consultants as part of the clients I've always had. But I used to coach all businesses. I used to coach plastic surgeons and lawyers and all sorts of people when I was offline. And some of them were coaches and consultants of various types. But when I got online, I started coaching all these different businesses, but I quickly understood that there is a huge number of coaches that are not thriving. They cannot get clients. They don't know how to get clients. They're throwing a lot of money down the drain in ads. Now, ads are not bad. I'm not saying that ads are bad, but ads are not a fit for clients that are not at least at 60 or 70K months, because you need a big budget to be able to test and have those ads, lose money. and not be worried about it. So you need a budget so that, you can't run ads when you have no budget because it leaves and then you're gone. You need collateral. So capital, actually. So I realized, wow, there are a lot of coaches that really need help. And I love coaches because I'm a coach. And I love the mission of coaches and consultants because coaches and consultants truly want to help other people, whether that's with their business, whether that's with relationships or life or what it is, ever it is that, or mindset or whatever it is that they're coaching on. They truly want to help people. And I thought, this is so sad. We have so many coaches out there that aren't making any money. And their whole mission was to help other people. So they're not making any money. They're not helping other people. So it's demoralizing. There's a lot of demoralized coaches out there sort of putting on a happy face on social media. They're doing their mindset and like, well, I'm going to keep going. But really they're just going around and around. And I saw this and I've spoken to thousands of coaches now. I know the market really well, and I know the problems really well. And there's only probably about 3 real problems. It's the same. Okay. It's that they don't know how to get clients. They don't know how to position themselves. They aren't clear on their market. They're not clear on the offer, and they are undermining their talents by charging very little. And then when they do get a client, the payoff is so small. It's like, oh, now they have to do that again. So they're not valuing what they're doing. And they're obviously, and I don't blame them, when you're not getting clients, it's hard to charge more because you're not in a space of abundance. So these are the problems. And I thought, I got to fix that. And I fix it very easily because I have a system that is so simple. It's very simple.
Great insight. So all these coaches are now present online. Before, all coaching business was localized. So if you need a coach, you should find it in your town or at least in your county or so, is somewhere near, because you needed all these in-person meetings and similar. And now everything is online. Do you think that is better for coaches or worse?
It's amazing for coaches. It's not better. It's amazing for coaches. Being online now is the biggest revolution in world history for getting business. And coaches, the coaching industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry that is growing every day. Actually, in COVID, it far overreached their projections because COVID made more people get online, because there was a projection that by 2023 or 25, it was going to be at something billion. We overdid that. We got that sooner because of COVID. So it is such a huge opportunity. I sit at home and I get clients all around the world without leaving my home. Used to be I was driving around. So all the time, and also you have access to billions of people. They might not all be your clients, but you do have access to billions of people.
When I was referring to a local coach knows about local customs, knows about local, let's say, politics, knows everything local they know. How important is to know local things in order to coach people?
It's completely unimportant because we're in a global market. So if I'm getting clients online and I'm teaching, and it doesn't matter what's going on, like in my local area with my, whatever, because I'm getting clients in England or Canada or America or in different states even, or Paris, because I've had clients from all over the world. I even had a client from Siberia once, a coaching client from Siberia. So I've had clients in Africa even. It's harder to get clients there because a lot of them can't afford it, but there are some people that can't afford my coaching in Africa. They can. So it doesn't matter at all, because when you're teaching somebody online marketing, it's online marketing. So I'm teaching, I had a few clients from South Africa, but I'm telling them to get clients not just in South Africa, because that keeps you poor in South Africa, getting clients that also. So I got these people out into the world. Okay. So it doesn't matter at all. Relationship coaching, difference does it make? The politics of wherever it is you are in America to help somebody with their relationship makes no difference. It's irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. And I mean that. I don't usually say something like that. So like hands down irrelevant. But I've been coaching people all around the world. And it's never a problem unless it's about local pricing, but I tell people not to go into the local market unless it's a market that's a high-end market like America. Okay, then sure, if you go to a networking event, sure, you can pick up a client or two. Why not? But I'm not saying, and I'll help you with that if you want to do a little bit of networking, but that is not where your big money is, because I've had that experience. That kept me poor. That kept me, it was okay. But that's limited to have to get dressed, drive to a networking event. There's 20 people maybe. Of the 20, how many of them are coaches? I don't know. Maybe 3. Then I get the cards. And how many of those actually want help? I don't know. Maybe 1, maybe none. But I'm online and we have access to millions of coaches. So it's right there for you. Or millions, for me, coaches, but for other people, millions of businesses, millions of people that have problems with their relationship, millions of people that have problems with their mindset or have an addiction if you're an addiction coach, millions of people that have other issues in life coaching, blah, 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 or who need a job. Okay. Now, a career coach, sure, a career coach. Well, I believe a career coach in America could also help people in Canada as well. It's the same thing. Also, a career coach could also help people in Europe because it's kind of they're coaching on the same thing. And they're not coaching about the local market. They're coaching about how to get a job anywhere. Does that make sense? So depends on the niche. But for most people, it really does not matter at all unless you're coaching them on local, unless you're a coach that's a coach on local traditions, which I've never heard of a coach that coaches on local traditions. That's an interesting coaching, offer. But who's going to pay for that? I'm going to coach you on your local traditions. You want me to pay you for that? Oh, not really. I can look around and find out about my local traditions. That would be an exception. But I've never heard anybody coaching on that to date.
Okay. So how important is the online presence for coaches today?
Well, it's vital if you want to get online, if you want to do, make this work and be able to scale to what you can. You can't scale offline to where you are. You just can't do it. So it's vital. It's vital to be online if you want an online business. You have to be online. Unless you're happy doing the old way, which I was unhappy with, because I didn't know how to do things online. I was like, well, this is all I know. And then I thought, well, I better learn. So I did. It was a big mountain to climb 4 years ago. And I just climbed it. I thought, okay, because we all want to do things the way we know, but then we realize we're stuck. And I thought, I don't want to be stuck anymore. I want to go now online. So important. If you want to get online clients, you've got to get yourself online. And this is actually what I help people to do. And there's a lot of fear. I get it. There's a lot of fear, the unknown. How do I do that? But if you want to stay stuck, stay in the old way of only going to networking events because you're limiting the number of people, obviously, right?
So if someone decides to become coach in next month, right, is it important that he has 10,000 LinkedIn or Instagram followers already, or is that something that he can build when building his coaching business?
Well, that's a chicken and egg scenario that you're explaining a chicken and egg scenario, but actually it's not a chicken and egg scenario. So that's the good news. The way you just, positioned that was chicken and egg. You just said to get online, but how could you have followers if you're not online already? So you're already online. Or do you mean you're online, but you're not pitching online? You're not positioning your offer online? Because how could you already have it if you weren't online? You have to be online. So chicken and egg, mine is not chicken and egg. I've helped people get clients with almost no followers at all. So it's not contingent on how much people like you or follow you. That's an old way of thinking. I was getting clients on Instagram and I had like 20 followers. It didn't matter because I have strategies that work and it's not just, and I know people that have 100,000 followers on Instagram and guess what? They have no clients because they don't know how to get clients. Make sense?
So there's what you're trying to explain is that reach is something and that conversion is something completely different.
Exactly. No, I mean, they can be related. There is a correlation, but it's not contingent upon having a bunch of followers to be able to get clients. Make sense? And because you have a lot of followers does not mean you will get clients if you don't know how to do that, if you lack the skills of conversion.
The mainstream paradigm is that you have to have a lot of clients and that then by some coincidence, a lot of followers, and then by some coincidence, they're gonna transfer into your client.
And I call that la la land.
Okay.
That's la la land. That is wishful thinking. That is just listening to stuff we hear on the internet, it's not true. It's absolutely la la land, because everybody wants to know that they can just get followers and magically those people are going to go, you're so amazing, I'm going to hire you. Because most people are very afraid of promoting themselves and marketing and selling. That's why.
So is it about content? What is important to get clients? What would you say is the most important for coaches to understand? So our listeners that are coaches, what should they start working on? Where should they start?
First of all, get a coach.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Just get a coach. You need a coach. Unless there's choices in life. If you want to stay stuck and not know what you don't know, don't get a coach. And you don't want to invest in your business, don't get a coach. If you truly, honestly want to build a successful coaching business, whether that's 10K months or 20 or whatever, you must get a coach, someone who's done what you need doing. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. You're not valuing your life. I have always invested in coaches, and that's where I am right now. I'll continue, get different types of coaches, and it just keeps growing the type of coach I get. So get a coach, because there are coaches like me and others that know exactly how to do this and just shortcut it and collapse time for you. Really what we want to do in our lives is collapse time, right? We want to just crumple that time and say, you know what? I would have taken 3 years to figure this out. And by the way, we're never just stuck in the same place. We don't stay in the same place. When people go, where will you be? I'll be in the same place. No, you won't. You won't be. Nothing stays the same in life. You either go up or you go down. It's like the markets, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Peter, it's the markets. They never stay the same, up or down. So when people go, I'm going to be in the same place. Actually, you won't be. You won't be in the same place. In a year, if a coach is still not getting clients, they're going to be more in debt. They're going to be more demoralized. They're going to be more dipping into their savings. So it won't be the same place. It will be further behind. You either go forward or backward. You go up or down. Nothing stays the same. So that's erroneous thinking.
Okay.
So it's going to be
for the coaches, the first thing to understand is practice what you preach. If you're a coach, you need to get a coach.
Exactly. And that's a big problem from an alignment and a reciprocity energy of, if people feel that they should have people paying them for their coaching, but they don't think they should pay other people to get coaching and get help, we have a problem on our hands already, mindset-wise. That's the first thing. Now, I will tell you some of this. That was the first thing I wanted to say, okay? But however, I will say the important things that you need to know. Number one, first of all, coaches need to know exactly who their target market is, okay? That's the first thing. But they also need to know that their offer is really, really good. And they need to know that the offer and the target market or avatar is a good marriage. Because you might have a fantastic offer, but you're selling to the wrong people. So then you're selling ice to Eskimos. Doesn't mean the ice is bad, because those people in Florida want that ice. So the offer's good, but you're selling it to the wrong person. And often coaches don't know that. They think the offer is bad and they give up. And then some of the people I've said, actually, I've coached people on this. Your offer is really good. They said, well, why am I not selling? I said, you're selling to the wrong people, wrong market. So that's really important to get help with, because people sometimes they stop 5 feet from the gold because they don't have enough outside input to know what they're doing. Therefore, they're marketing in the dark, and they're really marketing blind, I call it. They're just blind about what they're doing, and they're assuming that an offer is not good because they're not selling it, because they're missing data. And that's why it's so dangerous to miss data, when you could just get the data and have somebody go, oh, that's because of this. Okay, now it's all right. Now I can move forward. So offer and target market, or avatar, we call it, have to be a match made in heaven, not just figure out one and figure out the other. They have to make a match. Then you got a solid offer, and you got to know how to price stuff. People underprice all the time, and they're losing money, because let's work this out. Let's say there's a coach that's charging, I don't know, $500 for their coaching. Okay, not a lot. And they haven't met somebody like me that knows how to position them for $3,000 for their program, right? Every time they do sell, they're losing $2,500. So let's say they sell 10 clients in a year, They have just lost $25,000 because they don't know what they're doing, because Jeanne Omlor has not helped them.
Let me be the devil's advocate. And
Yes.
The online paradigm is like you want to make you want to make 120,000 a year coaching. Divide that by 12 so that you get a monthly amount. So you have 10,000. You can work for 200 hours, more or less. Then you can charge $50 per hour. And that's how they go about prices. Because if you Google how to price your services, that is the math that you can find on Google.
See, this is why people need a coach, because I would never tell somebody to Google that. I would never do that. I don't think that way. I think you are worthy. You're ready right now. Let's look at your offer. How much is it worth? And I'll say, okay, you know what? You could go get that much. If they Google it, they'll say, oh, but Google said I should charge $50 an hour. No coach should be working for $50 an hour. That is a poverty syndrome. $50 an hour. No, because you're not working every hour of the day. So it's demoralizing. The least I ever charged, even when I started, was $80. And even that was not enough. I knew it. Okay. So if you're Googling what you should be earning as a coach, you don't have a growth mindset. That's like, I'm just going to Google what blah, blah, blah. We don't do that. We come out strong. We go, okay, I teach high ticket. And I've had people go, oh my goodness, I can charge that much. I'm like, yep. And they've gone out and they've charged it. And they've said, you have changed my life, because if I didn't work with you, I was going to charge $50 an hour for the next 10 years. So I'm saying, if they don't know pricing, I was just giving an example. If you don't know pricing, and you're undercharging and it goes on for years, you are losing money year over year, right? Because you don't know how to ask for a high ticket price. Make sense? And it's burnout and it's demoralizing.
Okay. But a lot of people still believe that they have to be really laid back in their demands, and they should not overcharge. And everyone is afraid, or majority is afraid of overcharging.
Right, but why? That's the only reason for that. It's because they are in what I call client poverty. They are client poor, and they do not have enough leads, and they're lacking confidence. I've never met a coach that says to me, well, I really don't want to charge a lot. I don't want to charge a lot. They want to, but they cannot because they don't know how to. Do you really think that a coach really wants to work all year on marketing and maybe make $8K for the whole year, which is what? Well, I mean, actually, there are a lot of coaches that don't even make $8K. I think the average coach makes less than $8K a year. So do you really think that's the life they really want? No, they're saying that because they don't know how. So they're settling. So are you thinking that me as a mindset, as a power coach, like, do you think that I'm going to let people go, oh, well, I'm going to not be my best self? That's my job, is to help people reach their full potential. So I'm glad you said that. That's not what I coach people on, is to be mediocre and settle for less and be poor coaches. Why? That's not my mission. Peter, I'm glad you said that, because I could then answer that. My mission is to make coaches be wealthy, make a lot of money, and help a lot of people. The more money you make, the more money you make, the more people you can help. Not the more you can help. You know that because you have a big business background on Wall Street, right? And not on banking. So I will never say, sure, well, let's just settle for less and get a cheap coach that's going to help you make $50.
No, it's just I'm discussing the mainstream paradigm, that what people can search on Google and what they can find on YouTube. That is why I'm being the devil's advocate here.
Yeah, the mainstream doesn't interest me. I'll be honest. It doesn't interest me at all. I'm not interested in mainstream. I'm not interested in mediocre. I'm interested in helping people get their best lives. So sure, okay, I guess you're right. And next, that doesn't interest me. It's like saying, well, mediocre people think this, Jeanne. Well, I'm sorry for that. I didn't get to a million in 17 months by thinking that way. That's my point. That's not how I got there. I got there by saying, I'm going to make this happen, and I'm going to do my best. And I'm going to position myself and I'll help other people. And we've helped my team and I, over 400 people get out of that mainstream thinking, because that keeps you poor, depressed. And why would you want to be a coach at all? It's depressing.
I agree. And there are a lot of other things that you can do that are less demanding.
Yeah, and
might pay more than $50 per hour.
Exactly. Like, if you're going to be a coach, be a coach. If you're going to be a coach, get clients. Don't be a hobby coach. And this is the thing. People are like, well, I'm not getting the clients, so I better be more humble and I better settle for less. And I don't blame them. I get it. No judgment. But wouldn't it be better if you said, you know what if I go all in and actually become a coach and have an actual real coaching business, become the CEO of my small coaching business, which is just me right now? I got to $1 million just myself. I'm an exponential business. I'm one of those exponential businesses you hear about. I was me and a Filipino a virtual assistant for a few hours here and there. That was it. I did it all. I proved that. So, because I believed it. I thought, no, I don't need to get executive assistants. I'm just going to do this. And I worked really hard. Then, of course, I started hiring people because I don't want to keep working that hard, right? That hard. It was hard. However, do I regret it? No, I don't regret it. I'm taking care of my kids. I never missed anything. I took them to all their events. I'm a single mom, by the way. Cooked dinner every night. So it wasn't like anything was neglected while I was doing that either. Took Sundays off, took them on their, fun stuff. So when I'm vacation, so I'm saying I did that while I was having a life. It's possible. Things are possible, folks. I'm trying to open up what is possible here. I hope that somebody heard that and thought, wow, that woman got to $1 million on her own almost, and is a single mom with 2 kids and didn't miss a trick. That's what I want them to hear. Not say, oh, Google said $50 an hour. Let's open people's minds here.
So how do our listeners switch to winner's mentality? What do you think the most important?
Get a coach. Again, get a coach, because I do so much about mindset. I would say, even though I talk about strategy, I'm also a mindset coach, but I'm not selling the mindset. I'm selling the strategy. Like, we're going to help you get clients online. Then when they come in the program, they're like, oh, there's a lot of mindset. There's a lot of planning and accountability and all sorts of stuff. But I started doing a morning mindset formula every single morning to get myself into a state. So I would, there's a thing we get into, we can crumple. There's an energy level. And I think you might know this because we've all been through stuff, right? There's an energy level where when we start to crumple, we cave, right? And we cave, and now we're in the hole of a bit of a depression, bit of like, oh, is this going to work? People need to work every single day. Because on all levels, we can all do, because I want more now. There's always a gap. There's always that gap. What's it called? Achievement gap, I think it's called. And high achievers, we're always in achievement gap. But I stop and smell the flowers, though, because I'm aware of that. But it's not like, oh, I am where I am, and I think I'm so amazing. It's like, well, what next? Right? While being grateful. But there is an energy where we can start to go into the tomorrow, oh, this isn't going to work, lack of confidence. And we need to be so vigilant that we keep our energy buoyant, where we don't go, we keep it into a positive state where we don't go and cave. You know what I'm talking about or not?
I like what you're going, and I have a provocation for you.
Sure. Let's have another one.
Google and YouTube's everything is mathematics with them. So 200 hours multiply with $50, you have $10,000. And and that is something that people can relate to. What you're talking about is more intangible. You're talking about the mentality. You're talking about the energy, about your morning rituals. How important are all these intangibles for coaches?
Okay, so first of all, we have many tangibles because I am a killer at tracking numbers. Numbers don't lie. So we teach our clients about the numbers. We do teach them about doing the reps. You got to look at your KPIs, even for organic marketing. Very important, because you do not track, you do not know where you are. So it's not one or the other. I'm trying to explain this. It's all together. There are numbers. There's taking action. You need to take a certain number of actions. You track, if I do this much, then this will probably happen. It's all numbers. However, mindset feeds that, so that we all know when you're in a, when you're in a good mindset, you're going to sell more usually, right? If you're a salesperson, right? And they've proven that happy people make better salespeople. And there are companies that don't hire for skills. They're hiring for how happy the people are. Did you know that?
Yep.
Okay. So that's an intangible in a way. It's not like, well, show me your skills. No, he's got no skills, but he's a really happy guy. We're going to train him because he's going to sell more in the end.
Okay. Let me start with another provocation. So let's say that math and mathematics and all this stuff is a basic level.
Yes.
So if you want to go to the next level, you also need to have a winner's mentality or mindset.
Absolutely. And they have to be at the same time. Because I hear people go, oh, Jeanne, because some people are the other way. Jeanne, I have to go fix my mindset before I work with you. How are you going to fix your mindset when winning fixes your mindset? When getting clients and getting confidence and wealth in the door, that'll fix your mindset like in a second. So you don't fix your mindset in a void where nothing's changed, because success, and I don't say being a success, I'll never say that because it doesn't change who you are, because that's another whole discussion. But experiencing success changes your mindset. So if you do it at the same time, it's got to be mindset, strategy, neck and neck all the time, taking action while working on mindset. So some people go, well, gee, I got to go fix my mindset before no, that's not the right thing. You're not going to fix your mindset. If you're not getting clients, it's not working, and you're depressed, how is your mindset going to be fixed when nothing's changing? So you're working at the same time. And then with the strategy, you got to do the reps. But you've also got to work on your mindset at the same time, because I'm doing the reps, but that's because you don't believe in yourself. So there's at the same time, it's got to be at the same time, mindset and action. And so it's also not about just mindset and lying on a couch and manifesting. You have to take action as well to help the manifestations. It's the same together, mindset, attitude, with a proper strategy that does work.
Thank you very much for all these insights. Is there anything else our listeners who are considering coaching career should know, or any tricks or trade secrets that you can share with our listeners?
Okay, I don't like tricks, because tricks are just like, oh, I'm going to do a trick and I'm going to get clients. So I never talk about tricks, because then it seems like a random. What works is systems. What works is systems that you do all the time. It is not random. It's not fairy dust. It's not luck. Some luck always comes into business, however, right? Personally, I have not had much luck in business. I would not say that where I got had anything to do with luck most of the time. Okay, I'm one of those people that it's just about doing, and maybe it's good because then I can show people I was not just lucky. Definitely not just lucky. Okay, so nobody's ever said that to me because I just work. So yes, I have something to share. What I have to share is you are worthy and ready right now. You are worthy and ready of the life that you want right now. You don't have to wait for it. You don't have to ask permission. You don't have to ask people if you're okay. You don't have to get permission from people on social media, whether you're good or not. You are worthy and ready this moment, NOW. From this point is where you're worthy and ready, and you were worthy and ready in the past as well. Now, when you understand you are worthy and ready right now, and that you are me and I'm them, but I'm just not there yet, and you're not where I am, and we're all one, that's when your life will change. When there's no velvet rope keeping you from that cool nightclub where all the pretty girls go, you're one of them, even if you're a guy. Okay? So what I mean is, I am not a gatekeeper. I'm so against gatekeeping because I had a lot of that in my life, and I hated that. Gatekeeping for getting jobs, gatekeeping for this. And I so have such an aversion to people that gatekeep, that one of my core values is I will not gatekeep. I will show you the shortcut and get you through the gate. That's my mission. And I feel very strongly about that, because gatekeeping is this weird control thing that goes on in the world where people are qualified, but they can't get in because they don't know the right people, blah, 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 right? You know that, right? So there is no velvet rope. Just undo the velvet rope and walk into that cool nightclub and be a winner. That's just an analogy that I make. So you are worthy and ready right now. Just believe in yourself enough to value yourself enough to go get the help you need to make this stuff happen. That's my last word.
Thank you. Where can our listeners reach you?
Well, I hope that we're going to give you the link to my testimonials for the show notes. And of course, I'm all over social media. I'm just my name, Jeanne Omlor, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. I have a it's my personal account, and on Instagram. And I answer people. I'm very good at answering people, and I always will. That's one of my talents, is I don't disengage. I actually answer people, and they go, is this you? I'm like, yes, it is. So if you want to reach out, I always answer. Say I listened to Peter's show, or you can just book a call from that link that you will kindly give them of all of our client testimonials.
Okay. Thank you, Jeanne, for being my guest tonight.
You are so welcome. This was a pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Faleskini, for this outstanding podcast. And thank you for listening to the Ask Faleskini podcast until the end. Mr. Faleskini would love to hear your feedback in the comments. And don't forget, if you want to know, ask Faleskini or listen to the Ask Faleskini podcast. In order to please the almighty algorithm, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.